Welcome to Popcorn Planet. I am Andy Signore, and I can't believe I even have to make this video, but I'm gonna have to make this video because this reporter and what she's doing is so wrong in my eyes that I wanted to bring it to your attention. And I'm so glad because I got two amazing people to run it down with me. Attorney at law, Christopher Melcher, and Stef the Alternate. Thank you both for being here.
Well, I'm glad to be here and talking this through with you, Andy. It's this very, very serious subject matter we're going to be going through, but I'm glad to be working through this issue with you.
Well, I appreciate you both, and what we're talking about here is Miss Kat Tenbarge, NBC reporter, has now written what I'm gonna call a hit piece against me. I guess I get to join the club of Real Laura B, that umbrella guy. This is something that she's been working on, and I've known she's been working on for a while. And it finally came out. Now, look, you guys can do whatever you want. I just would implore you, what she's doing this for clicks. That's what she's doing it for. She's using my name, Tug's name, Laura B's name to get the Johnny Depp community to actually help give her clicks. I may go through this later today live. I'm still debating how much energy I want to give all of this nonsense, but I do want to sort of give you some general points. Before I get to Christopher and stuff, I do want you guys to know, full transparency, Kat did email me. She emailed me over on, what was this, Friday evening. Friday evening, she dropped an email with a bunch of questions, and I could just tell through the questions, which I did bring in some friends of mine, Stef, Christopher, etc., to sort of just get advice on, like, can you believe these questions? These questions were so biased and targeted, and when I read them, that I could just tell she had written this story and made her point of view without ever trying to do actual research here. So that was like troubling red flag number one. And we know that because we've covered Kat. And I'm not here to bash Kat. I don't want you guys to bash Kat. Please leave her alone. I think that's what she wants, is the attention. But I just do want to call out, and that's what we've done on this channel, call out this, what I think is really bad journalism. And so she asked me a lot of questions, really focused on my money, how much I make on the channel, etc., drudging up old stories and old accusations about me that I very clearly have denied, as well as proved, were not true. And she's just leaning into all this, as well as some new salacious allegations that I'm not going to humor and get into. And so I wrote a response. I wrote back, I said, Kat Tenbarge has been embroiled in a public controversy with me in the past and has publicly taken Amber Heard's side while admitting to me that she did not watch the trial. This raises obvious questions about her reporting and particularly this piece. I respect Miss Tenbarge's opinions, but she does not tolerate mine, and her questions make it seem like she has made up her mind without proper fact checking. Miss Tenbarge questioning how much money I make as a YouTuber covering news is ironic, given that NBC does the same. The fact that NBC is sensationalizing a private relationship between consenting adults does not meet journalistic standards. I've had multiple threats to extort me to admit to consensual relationships, and NBC is unwittingly being used to humiliate and violate my rights. Now, I was hoping she'd at least include my comment. She didn't. The only thing she said in this, I just wanted to point out her website article filled with ads. The only thing that she decided to write was, in a responsive series of emailed questions, Signore said NBC News was sensationalizing a private relationship between consenting adults. He didn't provide specific responses to other questions about his YouTube operations. I want to go straight to you, Christopher, because as a news outlet, as a reporter, and I got a lot more to say on this piece, like, doesn't she have a service to, like, give the comment that was given to her exclusively about the subject she's reporting on?
Well, this is it. I mean, she's not required to quote word for word, any source, but she did reach out to you to try and, get your input on the story. Again, those questions that she had were very focused towards the angle that she was pursuing. You provided your comments to her, and she only chose to use one of them. And so certainly that does not tell your side of the story. So there is definitely selective reporting going on. I think her position would be that, hey, she's asking you very pointed questions about how much money you make on your channel, and that you didn't, the comments that you provided aren't directly responsive to that. However, you are bringing up new issues, which is potential bias on her part, because to the extent that you've had, kind of feuding or whatever it was between the two of you, you're raising the question that can she, honestly or without bias, I should say, provide reporting here, because this is not, her personal blog post. This is a NBC article, so it's a very well-regarded media outlet. And so their reputation is, at stake anytime that they put any content out. And so you're questioning here in your statement whether she is free of bias enough where she can fairly report on this. And I don't know if she, got approval from editorial staff on this to saying like, hey, am I in the clear on this or not? And then also questioning here whether this is newsworthy. And I guess, hey, that's up to NBC to decide what's newsworthy. But to me, at least what you're saying and what apparently the other side of the story is saying is that, this is something that happened between two individuals. How is this relevant to anything? And my main issue with the article is that the premise does not meet my expectation, my real world experience with your channel. So the premise of her article, right in the headline, is that you are using YouTube, your channel, to attack celebrity accusers. She does not name one that I could see in there. So who are these celebrity accusers that you are using your channel to attack? I assume she's talking about Amber. Amber herself is a celebrity, of course. But that's just not true. And she doesn't even state, again, this is the headline of the article, but she doesn't state the proof for that headline. Who are these celebrity accusers that you're attacking? I know from many guest appearances that I've done on your channel, we have come out in support of the accusers against Danny Masterson, Harvey Weinstein, Bill Cosby, and Kevin Spacey.
Yep.
And those are all that I participated in. So I do not view your channel as some kind of forum for hate speech. And that was an implication of the article, is that you are some fringe commentator that can't get monetized on YouTube and therefore have to rely on super chat donations from your fan base or base to support yourself, which of course is false, because your videos are monetized. And the reason why they're monetized is because they're consistent with YouTube community standards. So the premise of the article is not correct. And I question how much experience she has had actually viewing the content in your channel before writing this article.
Well, that's what it comes. It's exactly. There's just no research. I mean, and I want to go to you, Stef, because another thing she did I saw this coming in her questions about how hyper focused she was on our audience being survivors of DV, which, yes, we do have survivors in our community, but this generalization of hers to try to victimize them and play them off as vulnerable really offends me. I look at our survivors in this community, which there are some, and I see you guys as amazing, as strong, intelligent, beautiful people that are not victims and are not vulnerable and can make their own decisions. This idea that Kat is trying to tell otherwise, that we are preying on you, it really, really bothers me, and I'm not going to stand by it. And I hope you guys won't either, because look, the truth is, if Kat had done her job and actually just Googled a little bit, she'd see that we are not taking advantage of the DV survivor community. In fact, we're doing the opposite. Here's a NBC News article from NBC WFLA, JB. Hey, JB, thanks for being a good reporter, who actually called out the fact that, yeah, we raised $45,000 for DV survivors. He actually, went and verified and talked to Sunrise and the person there. We actually helped them in their calendar year make it. We have plans this year to do something else, guys. Stay tuned. But this is just so offensive to me. Like, this bothered me the most, this idea of this victim community and we're using them. Stef, I want to go to you to get your reaction to this. Do you find it as frustrating to me that she was so selective in pointing her own narrative to really defend Amber, is what I think she's doing here, and blatantly ignoring the fact that we raised more money than anybody she's talking to for charities for DV?
Absolutely. There's a point in the article where she mentions, we started to come to prominence during the Gabby Petitio case. That's actually technically not true, because before that, Britney Spears finally spoke out during that court case. And that's really when, when you look at our analytics on the channel, that's really when the tide started to turn for Popcorned Planet. So she can't even get that right. But either way, you look at the Gabby Petitio case, it wasn't overkill in terms of our reporting. What we did was we wanted to report on a case that mattered to us, that meant a lot to us in one way, shape, or form. There's also an element as well of supply and demand. Our audience was highly interested in that story as well, just like a news reporter would do as well, or TV news outlet would do as well. And every other YouTuber was reporting on it just as much as us. So where's the overall, let's say, criticism? Let's keep the same energy. And even then, the other thing that I'm bothered about is she doesn't then turn around and say, oh, yeah, it was overkill. However, we did put back into community and we raised over $45,000 for Sunrise Charity. Like, it's extremely, as Christopher Melcher said earlier on, it's extremely selective reporting here, all to fund this narrative, this bias that, in my opinion, conspiracy theory or whatever, she has against you. Because this article is not balanced whatsoever. And the other fact that I want to bring up here is the people that she's citing, the people that she's quoting here, okay? She's saying that the whole Gabby Petitio thing was overkill in terms of the amount of videos that we do. Don't give them the time of day. But let me assure you, the amount of videos that the people that she's quoting have done on Andy is overkill. I can promise and guarantee that to you guys right now. Yet, she somehow doesn't see the irony in any of that. So,
no, I'm glad you said that because I don't want to.
On as you were.
Two of the people she named in this article as sources have literally done to me what she's claiming I'm doing to celebrities. These are YouTubers that despise me, that have said my name thousands of times when I've stopped saying their name at all, and they just want attention. And I'm not going to give them the attention they clearly seek. And now you understand why I don't engage with either of them, because they're the types of people who will go to a press outlet because they're bitter or angry just to get what they want. And what's so crazy is anybody who was sourced in this article thinks that they're like serving some sort of justice or greater good. But like, Kat doesn't care about any of them, in my opinion. Like this whole, like you can judge it by the own headline. Anybody who thought they're coming for a piece on me, no, Kat's MO from, as I read this, is literally to support Amber. She's trying to discredit me. She tried to discredit LRB, tried to discredit Tug, because we defended Johnny. That's what's happening here. And she wants to paint this narrative that the defenders of Johnny, the big supporters of Johnny, are all in his pocket or whatever sort of nonsense that she wants to claim. And that we're all biased because we're all sexist monsters is what to me, like, there's really no other reason for this article that she literally is putting in the headline, using YouTube to attack celebrity accusers. And it's just false. So everybody who sort of spoke up for this article, you literally just supported Amber. And it blows my mind. It makes me so frustrated. And please, oh my God, it's going to be, leave everybody alone. That's why I'm not putting the screen up. That's why I didn't really want to read the article and mention these people. They want attention. I refuse to give them attention. And I think that's why they're lashing out at me, Steph. Chris, honestly, these are people I've never said their names on my channel. I can't even remember when. Ages ago when I was a smaller channel, maybe they were on or had been mentioned, but they're mentioned as sort of colleagues of mine from my past. I assure you, these are not colleagues, nor were they ever colleagues of mine. And to wrap up, Christopher, with your final thoughts, like as a journalist, which she's claiming to be for NBC News, not a blog, not a YouTube channel, not her own independent outreach, for her to go and say this is journalism when she's literally ignoring charity streams and not even talking to you or Steph or Kim or Lewis, and specifically goes to people that are known publicly as hating me. Is that right?
Well, I mean, her beat, is kind of this social media watchdog, and is just kind of exposing people who are using social media in maybe a harmful way, or they're hypocritical, whatever. So that's a fine thing to report on. My main criticism here of the article is I don't know that she spent the time necessary to understand the content on your channel. And, you've related your past experiences, which of course are relevant as your channel, and it humanizes you and explains your background and where you're coming from on issues. But this is not the channel. The channel is the content of these stories that you're reporting on or covering. And I have always found you to be respectful. I wouldn't appear as a guest here if this was not a respectful forum. So, and I've always found you to be respectful in the segments we've done together, in the time that we've spent together on these 2 Vegas trips. I've always found you to be a gentleman to me and to others that I've observed. And so I don't see this. What she's reporting about your channel does not, again, meet my experience of having watched a lot of the content and participated in it. So that is ultimately my criticism of the article. Is I don't believe that she did the research to support the headline that you're using YouTube to attack celebrity accusers. That's just not true. And final point is that I've heard you say many times, hey, anyone supporting Amber's point of view, please come on the channel. Because it's like, hey, we want to hear from both sides of things, and you've always been open to listening to both sides of things. But
I've invited Kat herself on this channel numerous times, and she refuses. It's a very good point. She also, just to echo that, another thing that really bothered me, she says I used clips of our conversation. No, I posted the whole thing unfiltered. Again, another lie from her. But good point, Christopher. Go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, that's the final point. Is just, hey. It's fine for her to do articles of this type of nature, but you got to do the research and understand what you're doing. And when you do an article or a headline to an article saying that you're using YouTube to attack celebrity accusers, it would be nice to at least name one of those people that you're attacking in the article. And you'd have to have several of them because it's in the plural.
Well, she's probably alluding to Angelina Jolie, which she and I had a tiff on Twitter about, where she lied about that as well. But again, we haven't attacked Angelina Jolie. We've reported on the case. You're a divorce lawyer. You're more expertise than any of us on how that sort of stuff goes down. And that's what we've reported on, how these traditionally go down. Stef, final thought from you.
I'm a survivor of SA. I've made no bones about it. And let's put it this way. If I saw any evidence or any inkling that Andy is the monster that people are painting out him to be, I would not be here right now standing shoulder to shoulder with him. I would not be here right now calling him my big brother. It would be out of the question. It just wouldn't happen. And at the end of the day, what is wrong with being skeptical about the whole Me Too movement, right? You'd be skeptical about, what I've been through, what I've said. That's absolutely fine. That's your right. Yeah. What happened to critical thinking, guys? Yeah, just go out of the window, and it is literally believe all women now. Because even I'm turning around and saying, that's going a little bit too far, guys. But yeah, all in all, I wouldn't be here if I had the evidence or any inkling that Andy is the monster, or even half the monster that they're making him out to be. So miss me with that BS. Bye-bye. There's the door, Felicia. See you later. You're done.
Well, I appreciate you both. You both are incredible. And yeah, Steph knows everything. Steph's got my back. I got her back. And I think that this tweet sort of sums it up well, which I wanted to end on. You're doing a good job when Kitty Cat and NBC is trying to assassinate you in the mainstream media. So keep up the good work and the pressure. I mean, that's, to me, that's my takeaway. And I appreciate both being like, the fact that she didn't really get into the whole truth of our relationship, Kat and I, the fact that her editors thought this was an okay article to just put out there by not really revealing our relationship, as well as my comment, to me is terrifying. Like, that's terrifying that this has now become NBC News. The same NBC News that literally reported on us donating to DV survivors, and they can't even cross-check their own network. It's blows my mind. You'd think NBC News would have more journalistic integrity to not just run a blatant one-sided hit piece without at least including my full comment. I've actually emailed Kat to try to get her editor's name so I could follow up to understand how this even got to print. I will keep you guys posted. In the meanwhile, please leave her and everybody else involved in this article alone. This was not an attempt to try to get you to rally up to say anything. I just wanted to give you my reaction so you had the full story here and not their biased one-sided story. And in fact, regardless of what Kat thinks, you guys are allowed to support your YouTube creators. In fact, if you'd like to, I have a Steph the Alternate video here. Go support her too, as well as Christopher. But if you go click the three little dots on any video on YouTube, guess what? You can do a super thanks. You can pick your level, how much you want to donate, who's going to go, oh my God, $500. You can donate as much as you want, and you can leave a comment here saying, hey, Thanks. There it is. That's how it works. I can't type when people are looking at me. But show your support if you'd like to. And I appreciate Christopher. I appreciate you, Stef. You're also incredible. And if you want to support the channel, please consider hitting that subscribe button, hit that bell for alerts, smash that like button, and leave a comment down below if you really want to help. Hit that join button as well. Appreciate you guys so much. Stay tuned for more here on Popcorn Planet.